Was there a lot of football in your childhood?
Yes, for sure. Almost every day. In fact, probably every day. It started with playing outside with my friends, playing outside in the garden in my house, watching football, and I've just been in love from day one, really. And yeah.
You said you play outside on the streets.
Yeah.
Do you think that you have something of your playing style you learned in that period?
For sure, for sure. I think a lot of players can relate to this. You know, playing in the street, it's like, you know, you just invent things. It's about skill. It's about, you know, fighting as well. And you know, sometimes there were disagreements and stuff like that. But you learn a lot from playing like this, and especially, you know, playing with older kids or older people. It's always good.
And when did you realize that football was becoming more serious and will be maybe your full-time job?
So when I was young, I was encouraged to try a lot of everything, a lot of different sports. But for me, it was always football. It was always football. It's the one I loved the most. I'd say around the age of 8 or 9, I had the idea in my head that this is really what I want to do.
And did you play in what club at that time?
So at that time I was still playing No, this was just before Wycombe. I was playing with my local team, and I was playing also with, I was playing with 2 local teams. So on a Saturday I would play with one team, and then on a Sunday I'd play with a different team.
Oh, it's full schedule.
Exactly.
The Reading youth teams, you were 8 years, I believe, when you go to Reading.
No, I was 9 years when I signed with Wycombe.
Yeah.
And then with Reading I was about 13 or 14.
Okay. Was it a good time for you? Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really good time. It was a really good time. It was a funny story how I got signed for Reading. They were actually they were training at my school at the time, and I stayed like a lot of time after school to just kick the ball around. And one of the parents from the Reading team saw me, and he spoke to the manager and said, "This boy, like, give him a trial." So, you know, they went to speak with each other, and the next day he invited me to come and train with them, and then from then it was about 1 week, and they wanted to sign me. So it was really good times at Reading. Yeah, I can only say that.
You spent, I guess, 8 years in the youth teams of Reading youth teams.
Yeah.
And in the season 2019-20, you played 8 games in the main team in the championship.
Yes, I did.
Tell me about those times in such a competitive championship like that.
It was good. It was a valuable experience for me, for sure. I was young. I was naive. I was inexperienced. But you know, later you realize why you go through these things, and like I said, it was a very, very valuable experience for me. Not always good times, also bad times as well. That you learn from. You learn from these things, and yeah, that's the thing I'd say most about that.
And now, do you miss England?
It's hard to miss England when you live somewhere like this. I'll be honest. The only thing that I miss sometimes is my family and my friends, but I'm gonna say this now, I prefer to live in Porto than in London. So yeah, I miss the people, I don't particularly miss the country.
Yeah, I will ask you, what do you miss the most about the country and the city? I think you already answered.
Yeah, I don't miss the weather. Even though I was born there, I'm still not used to the bad weather. So I'd say it's the people, it's my family, I think that's the things I miss the most.
How was the transfer process to Porto? It was an easy choice for you?
So it was. I had a couple of options. And then there were some things with my agency, my agency that were my agency, not anymore, that were, quite difficult. I don't want to say too much about that, but in the end, when he mentioned to me Porto, I was like, it's one of those names that you just hear and you kind of think, oh, okay, it's one of the biggest European teams in the world. So, I said, okay, let's explore this. And yeah, they said, you can come over here and get everything done. And I said, of course, I'm here.
When you hear that name Porto, is there any particular memory or particular player that immediately came to your head?
So I remember I used to play a lot of FIFA, and I used to play with Porto sometimes. My favorite players, I'd say, were James Rodriguez. Of course, it's a bit older, but Deco and Falcao, Hulk, and of course, with my Cameroonian association, Abubakar as well, more recent. Brahimi, I really like Brahimi.
You know a lot.
Yeah, well, yes, like I said, it's a huge club, so I was already quite familiar with things here.
I don't know if you know this, but you are only the second English footballer to represent Porto.
I thought when I made my debut, someone told me I was the first, and I was like this is a huge.
I think that's because the other one, it was Norman Hall. He played in Porto between 1922 and 1931.
It's a long time.
Yeah, it's a long time.
So, I think it's a privilege for me. It's a privilege for me to hold this second place, I guess. But yeah, at the start I did know it, but I didn't know I was second. Someone told me.
And do you think you can open the door to other English players?
I hope so. I hope my journey here can open the eyes to a lot of English talents, not just here in Portugal, but elsewhere. I feel like the mentality with English, with a lot of English guys, is like they're either too afraid or too comfortable in England. Because England is like, that's where you want to be, I guess, for a lot of guys that grew up in England. They're afraid to take that step. But I hope I can open a few doors.
You have started in the B squad in FC Porto. Was it important in your evolution here?
For sure. Like I said, I look back at things and I think, I'm so grateful that I went through these moments. With the B team was fantastic for my development. It was the first year was difficult. Because it was the first time I'd been away from my family, not just in England but abroad. Different language, different culture, different people. And the second year, I feel like we had a better dynamic with the group, and they helped me a lot. The coaches helped me a lot, and I want to thank them, of course, because I think it was fantastic for my development.
And what are your main goals for your career in Porto?
I think I already have, well, not I, sorry, we, since I've been here, have already got three titles. I think my main objective here is to help Porto win more titles. I think the thing, when you hear Porto, the thing that you associate with Porto is titles and winning, because that anything apart from winning here is, it's not really accepted. So, but it's a good thing. So I think my main objective here is to is to make my own individual history, score lots of goals, and become someone here that is like we say in England, like a household name. But I think the most important thing for me is to help this team, this club, hopefully win more and more titles.
Where do you want to be in 2 years?
In 2 years? It's a good question. Good question. I think I want to be, by that time I'll be 24. Yeah, 24. So I'd hopefully like to be in a place where I'm really pushing on in my career. I would like to be doing that here. I would love to be pushing on, like I said, at this club, to win titles, to win leagues. So yeah, I think at that point in my career, God willing, I'll be in a really good place.
Going a little bit to the past, but I think to a good memory, you were under 17 world champion with England. What memories do you have of that competition?
That competition was really spectacular, really good. It was in India, which is not the typical place you would hold a World Cup. And we were there, I think, because we reached the final, we were there for over a month. So, and we had some preparation games before. But whenever I think about that, like, I get so happy. It was a fantastic time. Really good group. We were like so together as a group, really together, and all of the staff. We were all, really connected as a team. So it didn't really feel like we were there for that long, because when you're around good people, it's always a lot easier. But thankfully we won, and I think it was to do with that team togetherness that I was talking about, and of course talent as well, because we had a good team. I'm not gonna lie.
Phil Foden, Jason Sancho, Hudson Odoi. Do you keep in touch with some of these colleagues back then?
Yeah, of course. The one I keep in touch with, well, there's quite a few actually, but the ones I keep in touch with more are Angel Gomez. He played, I'm sure you're familiar.
Yeah.
He was here in Boavista last year, now in Lille. And the other one, probably Emil Smith-Rowe, who's there at Arsenal. Those were kind of my two roommates who I had the most.
So Angel's father is Portuguese?
Yeah, of course, yeah. So yeah, those are the two I keep most in contact with. But there are, like I said, we were so together as a group, we all stayed in contact with each other.
You said before you have a lot of sports in your childhood.
Yeah.
I know your brother is also a sports professional in rugby.
Yes.
Have you ever considered playing rugby instead of football?
To be fair, when I was in school, we did every sport. So I tried rugby, and to be fair, I'm not gonna lie, I was good. Back then I was very fast, so I would just take the ball and kind of like run around in a circle, like past everyone. But no, it was good. But I only did that for about 1 year. So for me, it was always football.
And besides football and rugby, do you like any other sports to watch and to play?
I like to watch and play basketball a lot. There's a basketball court near where I live, and I go there quite a lot. I watch basketball when I can, because it's very late.
Yeah. You have the Porto team to watch.
Yeah, exactly. Basketball, I like to watch rugby only when my brother is playing. My brother and my cousin, they play for the same team, so it's a coincidence that they play there. But I'm always watching their games and stuff. Basketball. That's it really. Okay. Tennis sometimes. Yeah.
Okay. Coming back to the present, how do you analyze your season in Porto so far?
I think it's been a year of a lot of learning. This is my first full year with the A team, so it's kind of like an integration year as such. New team, new teammates, new coach. But I think it's been good. I always set myself the highest standards, so I can always think I can do more and stuff like this. But yeah, well, the season is not finished yet, so we'll see what's to come.
But you had the opportunity to play in the Champions League. Certainly a dream come true for you. What was it like to participate in this competition? It took quite a while to process that I've actually played in this competition. Someone like me, when I was younger, I could only dream about playing in this competition. I would play one day in the Champions League, and then the next day I'd watch on TV the other teams playing like a fan, and I'd be like, wow, I just played in this competition yesterday. Sometimes I still don't. I don't really, I can't believe it, but no, it's an honor, and to do it with this club is even better. The matches against Inter was tough matches for Porto. Do you think you deserve to qualify to the quarterfinals?
For sure, 100%. I think it was just something on the day that was missing. I don't know what it was, but we 100% deserved to win. We showed over the 2 games that we were the better team. It still hurts to this day. Because I thought we could have a really good campaign in the Champions League. Well, we did, but I think we for sure could have passed this group.
You have great competition in the squad for your position.
Yeah.
You have Taremi, Tony Martinez, Evan Nilsson. Have you learned from them too?
Yeah, for sure. I think players here learn off each other every day because the standard in training is so high. You just find yourself unconsciously learning from each player. It doesn't have to be players in your position. You learn things off the pitch, what they're doing, and I think Pep is a great example of this. I think everyone in the team looks to him and sees what he's doing and trying to learn from that. So it's not just on the pitch stuff. But yeah, for sure, I've learned from them this season, for sure.
I think this could be not an easy answer for you, but how would you describe yourself as a player?
As a player?
What are the main qualities or what aspects do you feel you can improve?
Which question am I answering first?
Just one question.
Okay.
Tell me about yourself as a player.
Okay. I'd say I'm an exciting player. I'd say that I'm a player who, hopefully, when I have the ball, people kind of look and get up off their seats and stuff, because I feel like I can make something happen. I feel like I'm an explosive player, a powerful player, but also skillful too. I feel like I'm a goal scorer, but I can also provide. Things I can work on. I think sometimes just my awareness in the game, not to switch off. My defensive side as well sometimes can be improved. And just, I think for me, being more efficient and more ruthless in front of goal. It's not, scoring 2 or 3 goals. It's not enough in a game. Like after scoring 2, you should always look for more, 4, 5, 6. Who knows what can happen? I think this is the main thing that I'll probably take from this season, just to be more ruthless, more lethal.
And how has it been working with Sergio Conceição?
It's been really good. It's been a different experience for me. Mr. is very, he knows what he wants from his players, and you know, most of the time he gets that out of his players. It's been really great to work with Mr. He's helped me a lot. He has helped me a lot.
Do you think that you have evolved as a
For
player?
sure, 100%. And Mr. is someone that, you know, he's not quiet. He talks to you about things, about you know, what you can improve and things like this. And I think this is essential for any player. But for me, he's helped me a lot this season.
What is it like to live in Porto?
It's really, really peaceful. It's very peaceful, and I like that. I like it because going from London, which is, you know, very very busy, very, you know, to come here, and I live in Gaia, so it's very peaceful. It's very, you know, like cinematic. You have the beach, you have everything you need, and the people is one thing I say. The people are very, very nice, very, very nice here, and I think everyone has been wonderful to me and my family since coming here. So it's really, really good.
When you say it's peaceful, it's also peaceful for you. Can you walk around in the city in calm?
This year is more difficult. This year is more difficult, I'm not gonna lie. You know, but I think I was talking to someone about this the other day, but I think generally people respect footballers. Like, they respect their private space and stuff like this. Of course, like the occasional picture or autograph is fantastic. I love it. But I think generally people, they respect you a lot. Maybe they just give you a nod or like a hi or something like this. But yeah, generally it's really nice there.
Are you also learning to deal with that kind of stuff, with the fame and the streets being known?
I always say I just feel like a normal person, like a normal kid, just playing football. I don't ever think of myself as a celebrity or a famous person or something like this. Sometimes I'll go to the shops in my pajamas or something like this, and just like I would if I was back home. So yeah, I don't think it's anything really to adjust to for me. You know, like I said, I just feel like a normal person.
And what are your favorite spots in Porto?
Spots? Yeah. Okay, there's a few. I like, the main one is just to go by the beach. You know, there's like a red path.
Yeah.
And I like to take the scooters and just go in there, put my music and go in there. I think that's one of my favorite things to do. Spots, I like Enoteca. I think everyone likes Enoteca. That's one of my favorite restaurants. I think I've been there, I think, too much. Yeah, those two are a couple of my favorite spots. I can't think about them in my head right now.
Maybe Estádio again.
Of course. This is. I should have said this first, actually. But yeah.
You already speak Portuguese very well. How is your level of Portuguese so perfect?
How is it so perfect?
Yeah, you speak very well.
I try. I wouldn't say it's perfect. I'm still taking lessons, and I still, you know, throughout my time here, I still want to take lessons as much as possible, because I want to become like very fluent, which I still have a long way to go, but I think that's thanks to my teacher, Sarah, who I've worked with for almost a year now. So yeah, she's helped me a lot with my Portuguese. And I think just being here and talking every day with my teammates, with the staff, with people, I think it just being indulged in the culture helps a lot more. You know, there are players here who don't speak English, and of course I speak with them, and we can't speak any other language than Portuguese, so that stuff really helps.
But you were always good with foreign languages? How many can you speak?
I can speak English, French, and Portuguese. Yeah.
I think you could say Portuguese.
Yeah. So yeah, my French is okay, but I think it's always difficult for an English person to speak Portuguese. Yeah. They're completely different languages, but my French has helped quite a lot to learn Portuguese. And last year I was speaking French a lot with we had a little group. It was me, Morin Diai, who is now in Estoril, and Samba Kone, and we used to speak French a lot. But this year I haven't spoke one word of French because there's obviously no French speakers in this team. But yeah, I'd say my Portuguese is catching up to my French.
What are your main references as footballers?
References?
Yes.
In terms of people I look up to?
Yeah, in football players that you like.
I have quite a lot. I think the first one is probably Samuel Eto'o. He's someone that I really liked from when I was young, with the Cameroonian Association as well. It's a strange one, but Daniel Sturridge. He's always someone that I've liked, and I'm saying this now, but since when I was young, I was a Liverpool supporter. So yeah, he was someone I looked up to a lot. I used to be really not obsessed, but I used to like Steven Gerrard a lot too when I was really young. Who else? Ronaldinho, Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi. I think those are the kind of obvious ones. And I used to also really like Fabregas, Cesc Fabregas, when I was younger too.